Hey everybody, David G here, founder of the Internet Marketing Party, and I'm very pleased to be bringing you our guest speaker for the month of February 2013, and his name is Eric. Can you say your last name for me?
Lantras.
Lantras. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I was about to ask you that as the timer was going down, and I was like, I've only seen it in writing, but
It's okay.
Eric, it's a pleasure to have you. I'm gonna say a couple of things about why Eric is gonna be speaking, and what he's gonna be talking about today is actually really cool. What he's gonna be teaching you today is how you can stay out of internet prison, and why you really need to get to know a very special Chinese bear. So, if you haven't figured it out by now, Eric was introduced to me by one of our past guest speakers and another very good personal friend who's a confidant on the inside of the marketing community. His name's Rob Burns, and our past speaker was Ezra Firestone. And all these guys, yeah, I knew that there was going to be this super secret SEO mastermind, the SEO mafia mastermind in town at the same time at the Internet Marketing Party. So I said, guys, who's the smartest, most ninja SEO guy in the whole group? And they were like, well, there's a few of them, but one of the guys that's just very charismatic, very well spoken, and knows some amazing things about how to stay out of internet jail for your website is a guy named Eric Lantras. Lantras?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I personally am not real big on into SEO, but these guys couldn't say enough good things about you, Eric. So
Well, thank you.
you've got people that are vouching for you. So what we're gonna show our audience today is for and know that not everybody in our audience, some people in our audience are SEO ninjas as well, but some people are like me and they don't know a whole lot about SEO. So tell us about how to stay out of what do we mean by internet Google jail and this Chinese bear?
All right. Well, Panda, which is kind of the algorithm that Google kind of introduced, and they called it Panda. So it's like the Chinese bear. Basically, it's Google starting to look at your website quality. If they deem that you have a high quality website, it's going to be easier for you to get rankings and traffic, and people are just going to come to your site. And if Google is now basically they're trying, if Google thinks that your site quality is not at high, then you're going to be penalized and you're going to go lower into the rankings. So what we're going to cover today is it's all about getting the Google to recognize your website as the highest quality possible. And when that happens, you get more customers, you get more traffic, you get more sales. And there's a few quick little things you could do just to boost your quality, your website quality in the eyes of Google. So that's what we're going to be doing today.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
And one of the things we talked about as we were preparing for your talk, both here as well as at the party, is we talked about how we were like, oh, three easy things you can do to increase your rankings and keep them there. And we started really thinking about it, and it's like, really, these things, maybe we should tell people the truth, which is, I think, why P90X and the Insanity Workout does so well, because they tell people the truth. You know what? Insanity Workout has it in the name. This is going
Yeah.
to be damn hard. Don't even commit to this if you are in for just thinking it's just going to be a walk in the park. So tell us a little, you want to expand on that just a little bit?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you say damn hard, it's true that like some people, when Google looks at a website, they have some really smart people on the other side looking at a lot of what we call quality indicators to determine if you have a good website and good content or not. So it's not something, and because they do that, it's not something you could just put together in like 20 seconds and then you immediately have a high quality site. They really want to reward the people that put the effort in and put the high quality content and present it in a way that's really good for the users. So what I'm going to do is give you a few tips so you can get started right now to get Google thinking that you have a high quality website. And now that's all. As long as you're going in the right direction, if you keep on heading that right direction, you're going to do wonders. You're going to get tons of people, tons of customers to your site. You're going to make tons of money. What happens is some people actually put a lot of work into it, but they go in the wrong direction. you could do a lot of the wrong things, and that's not really going to help you. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is just so you could start doing the right things, and then it's just a matter of doing them over and over again, and you're going to get some great results, tons of sales.
The way you just described that made an idea pop in my head that I'd like you to tell me if I'm on the right track. This would be tantamount to if I just got admitted to Harvard or Yale and I'm taking classes with some of the world's best professors, some of the most smartest tenured professors, and if I went and took a class on how to cheat my way through college as opposed to how to develop amazing study skills, they're
Yeah.
both going to require work. But I may as well, if I'm going to do the work, I may as well do the work in a direction that's going to make me. I'm not going to be able to fool my professors that I studied.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So it's like
Um,
you're already going to do the work. You may as well do the work in a way that your professors will realize, like, yeah, this guy's really doing the work.
Yeah, well, I totally agree. And in the same way, like if you were going to the gym and you were working out and you were just doing really, really quickly reps and then stopping after like five and you were going home, even if you did that process over and over again, you wouldn't gain as much strength, as much physique as if you go to the gym and you do the exercises properly. So what we're going to go over now is kind of like the proper way. And the more you do it, the better results you're going to get. And the big thing, big distinction, if for anyone that's been on the internet for the past 5, 10 years, is that those things have changed recently, especially in 2011, specifically. All the rules that applied from 2005 to 2011, you had like a set amount of rules and things you needed to follow, and that's changed very recently. In the past 2 years, it's dramatically changed, and what used to work doesn't work anymore. So this is why this is so important right now.
Makes sense. Makes very and just I think I edified you enough by describing how Rob Burns and Ezra just said how you were like, everybody in your private SEO group, like just when you talk, everybody listens kind of thing. But some of the successes you've had have been just pretty phenomenal, right?
Well, you see a big difference. Yeah, you see some big differences whenever you modify some sites. If Google determines that a site is low quality, they're going to do everything they can to drop it in rankings because Google's constantly trying to get rid of the low quality, the spammers, the people that are trying to game the system. They're trying to get rid of them, and they're trying to reward, like they say, the mom and pop people, the people who don't really know anything about SEO, but they're really putting some good stuff out. They're trying to find them and push them up and give them the traffic and really pull out the good results. So as soon as you have, so that's why there's a big shift. And as soon as you start presenting to Google what they want to see, they're going to do everything in their power to help you get your customers. So you really want to be on their side. Now, there's some people in my like Ninja Mastermind who are like, they're awesome, but they're awesome in their own way where they'll do everything. They'll do the super cheats. They'll do everything to kind of game the system. But it's constant. It's a constant struggle if you want to do it that way. So
Right.
there's two sides to the coin.
As opposed to building it right the right way. It's almost like the Three
Yeah,
Little Pigs.
yeah. Like I can sleep at night, so I don't have to worry about any crashes or anything because we're doing things where Google's trying to help us. We're riding the wave instead of crashing towards it,
Right.
basically.
So,
So
and this is especially someone should perk up right now, or if anyone knows of anybody that was adversely affected by
Panda,
the Panda
yeah.
updates. That's one of your specialties is getting sites re-indexed after they've been like totally
Yeah,
demolished by Panda.
recovering from Panda and recovering from Penguin, which is the other critter that kind of came in there. They're both cute. I like them both, but
My daughter didn't have any penguins, so I don't talk about the other one. And at
all
the
right.
party, what you're going to be talking about before we actually give people some stuff they can walk away with in this
Yeah,
presentation is what Google isn't telling you about how they rank websites, right? Because
yeah, for sure.
the professor isn't going to tell you how they rate your paper because they want you to study everything, right?
Exactly.
But you're going to tell people at the party, here, I know I'm friends with the professor and I know what they look for and who they they have a tendency of giving the A papers to. And
Yeah.
two or three things that you can do to put you in the right direction
Yeah,
that
let's jump into it right now.
keep you out of Google prison. And then you can stay there. You do the work once and you stay there, right?
Yeah, let me give you one tip that you could take away right now, and you could just implement it, and it's for hopefully forever going to change the way you actually build content. One of the major things that people have been doing for a long time, and if you go to any article sites like eZine articles, those have been hit recently. Those are losing rankings, and a lot of people are losing rankings and they don't know why, and they're doing things like they used to do from 2005 to 2011 or so. The way Google looks at an entire page and the way users look at your entire page is very similar. Google doesn't actually read and understand all your text. See, if you have a long article, you have a whole page, and you're writing about cars, Google won't necessarily read everything. They're going to pinpoint and pick a few key elements to help them determine what your whole article is about. Because you might have an analogy about how cars are like turtles, or something else, but Google doesn't understand all that. They see words and that's about it. But they need to figure out what your article is about. And when they think that you have the best article on whatever keyword you want, so whatever topic, let's say you're going with cars, then you need to tell them that you have the best article on that topic. And the way you do it is, first of all, the headline, which is called the H1. Everyone knows about that. Let me just stop this. Everyone knows about the title. That's really the most important thing. That's going to be on the top of the page. You usually want to have what you call the keyword in there, which is your main thing. Then you have the H1, which is going to be the big headline. The big headline really tells Google, this is a huge indicator of like, this is what this article is about. And pretty much everyone has this, and they have it down packed, and they use the keyword in the title, and you use the keyword in the H1, and then they write a big article. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. If you really want to rank well in 2011 and 2012 and 2013 and moving forward, what you really need is to have emphasis on the subheadlines, which are the H2s and the H3s. And then you could go in to change every single article that you currently have and start adding subheadlines. And I'm going to explain why this works. Google actually reads all your subheadlines and determines how relevant your article is to that main subject. So if your H1 is cars and you want to rank for cars, then your H2 might be transmissions, or it might be engines, or it might be trucks. It's something relevant to your original keywords. Those are the words that you're going to want to put inside your H2. So your H2, a lot of people, the mistake I see them make is if they use them at all, most people don't use them, but if they do use them at all, they're going to have some sort of catchy line that doesn't actually have any relevance to the article. So for instance, they're going to say like, they're going to be talking about cars and be like, how to save money, or like, do you know what's next, or like something that's completely irrelevant. It'll be kind of a catchphrase, which is interesting, but it doesn't tell Google that this subheadline is about the topic. So whenever you're building an article, you want your H2s and even H3s, which are the subheadlines. I'm using them interchangeably. When I say H2, I mean a subheadline. You want those to be small, relevant, and have words that relate to the H1. And when you do all that, it has a two-prong effect. First of all, Google sees them. It says, okay, this article is really about this subject. Because Google asks, are you covering the whole subject, right? They want to know if you cover the entire topic, or if you're just publishing like a crappy article. So if you could tell them that you're covering, you're talking about cars, you're talking about transmissions, engines, history, related things, you have trucks or automobiles or insurance, or like everything that goes along with cars, and you have H2s for each of them, it's going to tell Google that you cover the most out of everyone on the internet about that subject. And they're way more likely to rank you with less backlinks back to your site, because that page is going to have a higher quality score.
Wow.
That should just be, so whenever you have to build your H2s, your subheadlines, in the proper way. And what people could do right now is go back to all their articles and just figure out if they have relevant subheadlines. And if you don't, then just put in relevant subheadlines, things that are relevant to your main keyword, your main topic, and then you should see a slight boost in rankings. The next thing that really, really works with subheadlines and this is why we're kind of covering this one first, is because Google looks at the user engagement. They really want your users, whenever they land on your site, to accomplish whatever task they want. So if your users land on your site and they stay there for 5 seconds and then they leave, Google thinks you kind of have a shady site. But if they land on your site and your users stay for like 3 minutes, then Google starts to think that, hey, this site is probably a higher quality site. And what happens is internet users have like ADD, where most people don't really read articles these days. Most people, when we load up a page, we land on it and we kind of scan through it. That's kind of, people just want information really quickly. So when you have subheadlines, it allows your users to scan through your page really quickly and determine what they want to read, and it engages them more, and users end up staying on your site much, much longer when you actually use subheadlines properly. So it kind of has like a two-prong effect. Not only are you directly telling Google that you have higher quality content, that your page really answers all the query, but at the same time, you're going to have your users coming on your site and staying there longer and engaging in your content more, which tells Google that you have a higher quality site.
You know what's interesting about that piece is that it's simple. It's really easy to do. It ties into your first
Really
thing,
easy.
and then the second thing is it's one of the first things I ever learned about direct response marketing is that if I showed you 6 paragraphs and I put them in the same type of font and I didn't put any spacing between them, it would
Exactly.
be hard to read. But if I put them in 6 paragraphs and I bolded the first, I put the first sentence in bold, it like visually makes it more engaging and easier to
Well,
read.
yeah, that's
So
exactly
it's
it.
almost
I'm
like it's basically like a copywriting and formatting tip,
exactly.
but that's moving over into, and it really comes down to, and staying with the professor example, it's almost like if your professor had a TA, a teacher's assistant, and if the teacher's assistant reads through, but they've got 100 papers to read, and they're like, this is hard to read. Like I'm not even going to give it to the professor. The professor's just going to give you a zero because they're like, if the TA it didn't even pass the TA's like
Yeah.
attention span.
Well, that's the thing. And I was in a Chapters the other day. It was a bookstore here in Canada, and I was going through the magazines. And the magazines, they're so ahead. Like they've had like the publishing industry and print has had so many years to actually come up with this beautiful layout that catches your eye, and then the way they structure everything. You open a magazine and it's beautiful. You keep on reading. And the internet in general doesn't have that yet.
It's just
Yet. They don't have it yet, but we're moving towards it. So I believe that this is actually a really good thing. Because imagine in 5 years, if we keep on moving in this path where they keep on rewarding a content that's pertinent and that's catchy like that, we're basically going to be reading magazines online. It's going to be the same quality as the print media that we currently have. We're going to have that when we browse web pages. Now that's going to be really cool. And those are the websites that are going to rank the highest.
yeah.
Those are the websites that are really the ones, the websites that can really retain the user attention and get everyone reading and engaging. Not only is that going to make you more sales right off the bat, like, I mean, there's a huge difference. If you're selling anything, collecting leads, or you want your users to take action on any level, having some things that are more engaging is immediately going to give you more money.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
next,
it's weird
yeah,
because I love using analogies because it kind of helps people understand things that are kind of complex or outside of their day-to-day reality. But if you think about it, that's why people want to go to Apple Store or to a really nice Neiman Marcus or really nice
yeah,
because it's easy to find stuff as opposed to going to a thrift store or a secondhand store where they just have stuff like the sizes are all intermingled. Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a good user experience. Yeah, the clothes is cheaper, but you're gonna waste
Sometimes it's hard to find. Like
yeah,
you
it's hard
won't,
to find. So if you have a good user experience, you can charge more, and if you can charge more, then more
yeah.
people will come there and they'll tell their friends, and so it's almost like it's reflected in the real world. And
Honestly,
I told you I wasn't going
yeah.
to throw you any curveballs or any gotchas, but I will throw this in if it makes sense and you can carve out the time. We might do a quick like a 3 minute interview, a 3 minute follow up to this one, where we do
Yeah.
a screen share where you can show people who don't know anything about SEO or what H1 tags or H2, H3, just a simple page. Not now, because we'll do that if somebody wants to. We'll
Yeah,
see if enough people leave comments. We'll do a follow up video so that the newbies can see what that
for
looks
sure.
like. But
I'll
then
be
you
happy
said
to
you
do
had a
it.
third, and then we'll kind of wrap
Well,
up because
that's kind of my whole thing where we wrap it up. We got the user engagement, we have everything. So that's, if they want more, come see us at the party. It'll
All
be
right.
awesome.
Okay, so tell us a little bit. Like, could you elaborate on what exactly? Like, what are they gonna? Like, what is somebody? If somebody comes to hear you talk at the Internet Marketing Party on Thursday, it's the third Thursday, February the 21st in Austin, Texas. What are they gonna be like for sure? They'll walk away from in your presentation.
Okay,
I mean, like
well,
they'll get
for sure,
with.
they're gonna walk away. Most people that walk away that I've seen my presentations, they walk away with handful of notes. But you know, won't might not be able, you know, might have a drink and you might not be taking notes. But I guarantee you, you're gonna change the way you forever publish content from now on. Because I show you the direction that Google is going and the entire internet's going, and I basically bring out the new publishing guidelines so that people could rank easier, get a lot more traffic, a lot more sales with less effort. And that's kind of what everyone's after, I think. No one wants to spend, you know, hours and hours creating backlinks and working on all these strategies. You want to rank with the least amount as possible. So that's really what really what I bring to the table. And people have called me the SEO doctor because when you apply all of this and everything I'm going to be showing you, you avoid, you know, basically the panda penalties and the penguin penalties and whatever upcoming penalties are coming, you're going to avoid those if you're doing things the right way. So I'm going to show everyone how to do the things the right way.
Awesome, awesome. And I will edit this part out, what I'm about to ask you, if it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And no one will even know I asked you. But would it be appropriate to, if I can get internet access at the party, to if somebody leaves, like, we'll do some sort of challenge to people, and if somebody wins that challenge, like the most comments or the most viral spread, that we'll actually put their website up on the thing, and you'll do like a 3 to 4 minute site review.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I've done that before, and it's awesome.
Okay, cool. So that won't be the majority of your talk, but everybody will learn from it, and it'll be something that. What would be a good challenge we can do is like the person that leaves gets the most comments, or I don't know, like I don't know. We'll come up with something. I'll put it down in the section about section after this video.
Well, if you have live internet, I'm happy to do it. I did it. I've been doing that a lot. Pretty much everyone always has something that you could improve on, and most of the time it revolves around user engagement. It's about getting the user to be on your site more because you get more traffic. Honestly, that's just the way it is. Like when you have the higher quality site, you get more sales, you get more traffic, and that's what we're all about. So
the user engagement is the equivalent to like driving past a restaurant that's always crowded. It's like
exactly that's exactly it. Yeah.
It lets Google know that restaurant's always crowded. People stay there a long time, so obviously it's high quality. Nobody's gonna stick around if it's junk. Awesome. Well, good stuff, man. I definitely have learned some key things, and I definitely feel like I need to learn more, because now I feel like you just basically gave me an appetizer. I'm like, man, I want to eat here, you know. And so, good stuff. I know now why Rob Burns and Ezra Firestone spoke so highly about you.
Great.
I'm looking forward to seeing you, meeting you in person. Leave your comments and questions for Chris below. I mean, for Eric. I'll edit that out. For Eric below this video presentation, and I'm sure if he can carve out a few minutes out of his busy schedule. He's doing this completely out of the kindness of his heart. And you're flying in from where again?
I'm flying in from Montreal.
Montreal. So we have an international guest speaker. Damn it.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So
cool, man.
See you at the party.
So I will. I'll see you there, and I hope to see everyone there as well. We're gonna have a good time.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric.
Cool. Great. Thank you.
Yeah.